Hello students, welcome back. This is Dr. Mercado speaking. Welcome to Accounting 1329, Payroll and Business Tax Accounting, and we are continuing covering content from Chapter 2, which deals with computing wages and salaries, and we are using Payroll Accounting 2023 edition. Now in this particular lecture, we are going to be covering Problem 2.9. Okay, in this problem, we are provided with a time card and we have to calculate the hours worked each day, the total hours worked, and the gross earnings for the week. Now, time cards. Your textbook has a lot of important and useful information that explains what is a time card and the different types of time cards available. Okay, so basically what a time card is, it's basically a system in place designed to keep track of how many hours you work daily. Okay, so there's just a different variety of ways to keep track of your time. Some people clock in using a computer. Others have a punching system where you enter a physical card into a system and it clocks you in or out. There's some systems where you have to clock in using your fingerprint. It doesn't matter the type of time card or the type of method that is utilized to keep track of your time. We need to know or be able to keep track of how many hours a day you worked, okay? So we utilize that information to be able to calculate your pay for the week, okay? So in this particular example, problem 2.9a, it says that under the decimal system of computing time worked at Timmerman Company, production workers who are tardy are docked according to the schedule shown below, okay? So if you're between 1 to 6 minutes late, you get penalized 1/10 of an hour. If you are late between 7 to 12 minutes, you get penalized 2/10 of an hour, 2/10 of the fraction of the hour. If you are 13 to 18 minutes late, 3/10, and then 19 to 24 minutes late, 4/10 of the fraction of the hour. Okay. Now it tells you that the regular hours of work are Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 11:30 and from 12:30 to 4:30. So all of the employees in the company should be clocking in at 7:30. They clock out for lunch at 11:30. They come back from lunch at 12:30 and they leave home at 4:30. Okay. So it says that during 1 week, Henry Bajorn, who earns $12.15 an hour, reports in and checks out as follows. Okay. Employees are not paid. This is very important. Employees are not paid for ringing in a few minutes before 7:30 and 12:30, nor for ringing out a few minutes after 11:30 and 4:30. Okay, so we are provided with the time card. Okay, Monday they clocked in at 7:28. They clocked out at 11:31. They clocked back in from lunch at 12:29, and they clocked out at 4:31. Okay, and we have all of the information Monday through Friday for this Henry person. Okay. So the first requirement is we have to refer to the time card, and we have to compute the hours worked each day, the total hours worked for the week, and then the gross earnings for the week. Okay, so let's look at the time card. And remember, if they are late more than between 1 through 6 minutes, they get docked. So if they are late, they get docked, but if they clock in a little bit early, they don't get paid for it. Okay, this is not a very common method of accounting for time cards nowadays, but there are some older companies that still use this decimal system of computing time. Okay, nowadays most of us, we clock in whatever time we clocked in, that's when the clock starts running, and that's when you start getting paid. Okay, so it's a lot more precise, but like I stated, there's a lot of places that still use systems like this, so we need to be able to figure all of this out and figure out how can we make all of these deductions if an employee is late. Okay, so let's look at Monday. Okay, on Monday, Henry clocked in at 7:28 and clocked out for lunch at 11:31. So if we see, he clocked in 2 minutes early and he clocked out 1 minute late. Now it says here, employees are not paid for ringing in a few minutes early or for ringing out a few minutes after the 11:30 and 4:30. Okay, so because he clocked in early, he clocked out a minute late, he's not going to get penalized. Okay, Then he clocked in at 12:29, 1 minute early to accommodate or keep up or make up that 1 minute. And he clocked out at 4:31. So in this particular case, all of the little adjustments that are done here, where he clocked in a little bit late, a little bit early, and late, those do not affect the calculation because these are items that the employees are not going to be adjusted for. The only thing that they're going to be adjusted for is if they're late in clocking in the morning that they clocked in, or if they're really, late in clocking in from lunch. Okay. So these are penalties for ringing in late. Okay. If you are late, when you should have clocked in at a certain hour and you're clocking in late, this is where the penalty occurs. So on Monday, from 7:30 to 11:30, that's 4 hours. That's 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. That's 4 hours. And then from 12:30 to 4:30, that's 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. That's another 4 hours. So on that particular day, Henry worked 8 hours. Okay. And let's just put 8. We know we're talking about hours. Hours worked each day, it's 8. Okay. So on Tuesday, something happened. On Tuesday, Henry clocked in at 7:35. At what time should Henry have clocked in? Henry should have clocked in at 7:30. He clocked in at 7:35. That means that he was 5 minutes late. Okay. So because he's 5 minutes late, we're going to have to penalize him 1/10 of the fractional hour. Okay. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind. He's late, so he's going to get an infraction of 1/10 fraction of the hour. He clocked out at 11:30, which is perfect. Clocked back in at 12:30, which is excellent. And then clocked out at 4:30. So everything was done right, just that he clocked in 5 minutes late, which means he's going to get penalized. He's 5 minutes late, so then that means that the tardiness will be the 1/10. Okay, so because he was late 5 minutes, we're gonna have a fraction of the hour of 1/10 deducted. Okay, so if it's 1/10, we're gonna do 1 divided by 10. That means that we're gonna deduct 0.10. Okay, so out of the possible 10 that could have been earned, we're gonna deduct 0.10. So 1 minus 0.10, that means that we're going to pay on Tuesday 7.90 hours. Okay? And we're paying 7.90 hours. Let me put this. Because there is a 0.10 penalty. Okay? There's a penalty. Okay? So these are the amounts that are actually being worked. These are the penalties, okay? On Wednesday, oh my God, on Wednesday, Henry was really late. He should have clocked in at 7:30. He clocked in at 7:50. So that means he is 20 minutes late. So if he's 20 minutes late, he's going to get penalized 4/10. Okay? 4/10 is going to get penalized. Okay? So let's see what happened the rest of the day. So he clocked in 20 minutes late. He clocked out for lunch 3 minutes late. But remember, that does not affect him. He clocked in from lunch 3 minutes early, which is great. That way it cancels out that difference there. And he clocked out 2 minutes late. Remember, if you clock out a couple of minutes after the due date or the time frame, you're not going to get paid for it. So the only item that we have to adjust for is him clocking in at 7:50 when he should have clocked in at 7:30. So that's a 20-minute penalty. That means that we are going to dock him 4/10. Okay? 4 divided by 10 gives you 0.40. Okay? And then 1 minus 0.40, that means that he's going to get paid 7.6, okay, for this day. So we have 7.60 is what he's going to get paid, and there's a 0.40 penalty, okay? On Thursday, he clocked in at 7:27, a couple of minutes early. That's fine. He's not going to get paid for clocking in 3 minutes early. He clocked out at 11:30, okay? And now look at this. he clocked in back from lunch at 12:50. At what time should he have clocked in from lunch? He should have clocked in from lunch at 12:30. So he took 20 extra minutes on his lunch break. Okay? So we have to dock him those extra 20 minutes that he took. If he took 20 minutes, we're going to dock him 4/10. And then he clocked out for the day at 4:33, which is fine. No penalty there because he clocked out a little bit later. Okay? So on Thursday, the only thing that we're going to adjust is for him clocking back in from lunch 20 minutes late. Okay, so if it's 20 minutes late, he's going to get penalized 0.4 So that means on Thursday, he also only earned 7.60. There's a 0.40 penalty associated with it. Okay, let's look at Friday. Friday, Henry clocked in at 7:28, which is fine. He clocked out for lunch at 11:32, which is good. He clocked back in from lunch at 12:40. Okay? He should have clocked in from lunch at 12:30. Okay? So that means he clocked in 10 minutes late. Okay? So because he clocked in 10 minutes late, we're going to penalize him 2/10. Okay? And then he clocked out at 4:30. So if we're going to penalize him 2/10, 2 divided by 10, that's 0.2. So 1 minus 0.20, that means we're going to pay him 7.80 hours on this date, and there's a 0.20 penalty. Okay? So now that we have the total hours that Henry worked every day, deducting the penalties for being late, how many hours did he work? So we're going to get our calculator out, and we're going to get 8 hours on Monday, 7.90 hours on Tuesday, 7.60 hours on Wednesday, 7.60 hours on Thursday, let me see, I think I entered it wrong. 8 on Monday, 7.90 on Tuesday, 7.60 on Wednesday, 7.60 on Thursday, 7.80 on Friday. That's going to give me 38.9 hours. That is the total hours that were worked during the week. Okay? He should have worked 40 hours, but he was late some of those days, so he incurred penalties. So now he is only going to get paid for 38.90 hours. Okay? Now that we have that, we can calculate the gross earnings. Okay, so we know that he worked 38.90 hours, and we're going to multiply it by his rate. He gets paid $12.15 an hour. Okay, so we've got 38.9 hours times 12.15. So this employee is going to earn $472.635. Now, when we have 3 digits, we always look at that third number. If it's a 5 or greater, we're going to round up that second number to a 4. If it's between 0 and 4, we keep the 3. If it's 5 or greater, we make that 3 a 4. Okay, so in this case, we're going to round up because that third digit is a 5. So the gross earnings for the week will be $472.64. Okay, and be very careful with that because a lot of students may make mistakes when they're rounding, and that causes them to make a mistake and get the problem incorrect. Okay, so remember, look at the number. If the third digit is a 5 or greater, you need to round that second digit up by 1. Okay, so it will be 472.64. Okay, so this is how we calculate the daily hours worked using a decimal system of computing time. Okay, we figured out how many hours were worked, less the penalties of arriving late. Okay, and then the total hours worked for the week. Once we got the total hours for the week, we simply multiplied it by the rate, and then that gave us our gross earnings for the week. Okay, so I hope this information helps you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you very much, and until next time, bye-bye.